there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. Today we're going to be working on a few fun DIYs. So what are we waiting for? Let's get crafting. Today we'll be working on two DIY farmhouse home decor projects. So for this first one, I have this board and I used it on a previous project. I've distressed around the edges already, and I got this board from Walmart, and it's originally a 16 by 20 piece, and I had my husband cut it directly in half. So now it's a 8 by 20 piece. Now if you don't have that, I think it would look super cute if you did paint sticks here, and I'm just going to lay out about, I don't know, 6 or so, but I'm thinking maybe like 10 all the way across, and then you can lay a paint stick up the top and then one at the bottom. But I think it would even look better if you did like one of these wider boards. They come, you know, they're like $2.99 from Home Depot or something similar, and do a wider strip board top and then one at the bottom, and it would do the same thing. So again, this is about an 8 by 20. Now I had my husband cut it directly in half horizontally, and use that on another project, like I said. And I like the way this looks, but I think it looks even cuter flipped over. So we're actually going to use the back side. Really easy project. I've got these hinges. I picked them up from Habitat for Humanity. I've pre-drilled some holes, and I got this handle at Hobby Lobby. I spray painted it black. The hinges, I did spray paint those black as well, a matte black. I was thinking they were already that color. So pre-drilled the holes, like I said, and I'm just going to set my screws in there. And we're on the front side, which is the back side of our sign, and I'm going to get these hinges in. You know, kind of pay attention to the hinges you use to make sure that they, you know, are ergonomically correct onto the sign or whatever you're using, so it actually looks like it would be a swinging door. I had to look it up on Google how these hinges were placed on cabinets or whatever, because I wanted it to look right. So we'll go ahead and I'll do the same on the bottom part. Once that's all in, I'm using Gorilla Glue here. I'm just going to Gorilla Glue the handle right into position here. Once we flip this over, love this part right here. Gorilla Glue that in just a minute. I've got a quote here I use on Cricut Design Space that I designed, as you can see, and the fonts are Strong Farmhouse and Baskerville. So I've got it laid in position where I want it. We're going to get that on there. And you could buy any of, like, Dollar Tree has the cute big stickers or anything like that, those word stickers. You could print something off on your computer, Mod Podge it on, anything like that will work. This was a little bit testy getting my transfer sheet off here. Even though once I sanded everything and I cleaned with a wet rag and cleaned everything off, the letters still wanted to pull up. I did end up taking some matte Mod Podge and I sealed the letters down into position. Get this all on here, looks perfect. Here comes my Gorilla Glue and my handle. And then once I get this handle into place, it sets up overnight. This project is complete. Nice and easy. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I do all sorts of home decor DIYs, from farmhouse to rustic to primitive, throw in a little bit of paper crafting. If you like what you're seeing here today, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video from me. And now let's move on to project number 2. So for this project, we have a lot of pieces here today. I've got these two signs from Dollar Tree. I have this metal windmill from Dollar Tree, this long sign as well from Dollar Tree. I've got this home decor base from Dollar Tree. This one came from after Easter sale at Walmart, clearance, and then some wood letters from Walmart as well. These are the smaller size wood letters that they offer. So I'll be kind of pre-painting everything here. Oh, also have a spindle. Y'all know I like to pick up spindles from Habitat for Humanity. So on this metal windmill, I will be painting spray paint ultra matte, just a light gray. And for the rest of these pieces here, I would be doing black on the signs and kind of this fluff white Dixie Belle paint. It's kind of got a little bit of a gray tint on the spindle and on the bases, and then I use a dark gray, hurricane gray from Dixie Belle chalk paint on the wooden letters. Now on the wood letters, of course, off the back, I'm taking the label off and taking all the staples out of everything. And of course, like if you have anything like this sign from Dollar Tree that has kind of a 3D element on it, I'm taking that off as well. And then I'm taking off this metal piece off my sign as well. So everything's all nice and flat and ready to go. So for this windmill, I took it off that little base, and you can see the back kind of has a little extension here where it hooked onto that little base there. And I want to save this little top piece so I can glue that on. So what I'm going to do, this is just really thin, cheap metal. So I'm just taking some nice kind of robust scissors, leaving as much as the center intact as I can, and just kind of cutting around that little extension piece and cutting that off. That way everything still will stay together okay, and then I'll just glue that center on with some Gorilla Glue. I've got everything out here now pre-painted around the edges and things. I'm just using my electric sander, and I'm going around the bases and everything. And yes, that drawer you see in the background, upcoming video. So I just want to kind of distress and rustic everything out. Just a little light sanding, not too much. I didn't really want it heavily sanded on this one. I love using that electric sander. It just makes things so much easier. I know I show you guys a lot of times using the hand sander, but you know, this one is my friend. Coming along, there's the hurricane dark gray on my letters. I'm just kind of going around the edges, mostly on the front because the back will be glued down, getting everything ready. Now, as you can see here, I have a lot of papers here. I have traced all my little signs and my little home decor signs that are going to be the base of my larger sign here. And some of the pieces, they are so long I kind of have to fit them together. I chose papers that when I do attach them together here, like with double stick tape, that you can't really see the seam so much on the other side. So I chose patterns that work together nicely. Now, if you don't want to do all this paper, it's just I have a whole room full of paper crafting items, and I'm like, why not use my paper and kind of marry it with my farmhouse crafts? So that's kind of my little bit I like to put into it. Now, some of my papers here, I had to cut into strips because I didn't have enough, and I wanted to use grays and kind of aqua tones and blacks. So by just cutting strips, I can just do a strip top and bottom, and then the larger paper that I have enough of through the center. Now, when I do cut all my papers for my signs, you know, I cover the bottom part, the base of the sign. The bottom part is done with black cardstock, and then as I trace the other pieces for the top of it that will sit on the cardstock, I trace them and cut them out so that they are all about a 1/4 inch shorter than the bottom piece below it, so that you see all the little layers of the paper. So I hope that's understandable. So I like to take all my papers here to my sewing machine, and I just sew on it like it is regular fabric. Not a big deal, just size 10 needle. You can see here what it looks like. Tension set on 4, thread on 4, and my machine likes all polyester thread. Tension on 4, stitch length on 4, excuse me. And I like to take the open end of my scissor blades and I scrape along the edges just to give it a little bit more of a rustic texture. And you can see I'll cut those threads a little shorter, but I don't cut them off completely. I like my little threads to hang out and stuff. I think it just gives it a little bit more texture. So here's what that looks like. So you can choose to do this or not do this. And now I've got some holes pre-drilled in my base. My husband has done that for me. We've picked out some really long screws to screw both of these bases and the spindle together in one unit. They're like 3-inch long screws. So we've got the holes pre-drilled so I can add my papers onto it. Just one on top and then around the 4 sides of both bases. And again, if you don't want to use paper, you don't have to. It would be perfectly wonderful just painting all your pieces in whites and grays and blacks and making it look nice. This would look perfectly beautiful sign without all the paper on it. So, you know, if you want to try something new, try using some scrapbook paper and cardstock on your pieces. If you don't, stick with paint. It works wonderful. Promise. Just skipping ahead here a little bit and getting all my pieces on my bases. I like to use home decor pieces like from Dollar Tree and that, like this for my bases, because it just, you know, and I usually will do two, like one larger base on the bottom, one smaller base on the top, just to give it a little bit of personality. You could just use a couple pieces of square wood. You don't even have to use home decor pieces, just some salvage wood pieces. Make the bottom smaller or bigger, the top a little smaller, and that works perfectly wonderful. So I'm using a combination of Gorilla Glue, and I will use some nails to put my signs onto the spindle. Now, if you don't have anywhere that you can get spindles, you can buy really large round wooden dowels from like Home Depot. Would work really well, or even Habitat for Humanity. Oftentimes I've bought some of those large round dowels, or like a wooden shower pole, you know, shower curtain pole, like that would work fine. So get my Gorilla Glue on, I let it sit a while, then I pre-drill some holes, and then I'm hammering in some nails, one top, one bottom of each sign. I want this to, of course, stay together really well. I will be selling this at a craft show, so, you know, I want the craftsmanship to be nice and sturdy and stable. So once we get this in, then we'll go to town and start decorating the signs. So I've got some quotes here that I created with Cricut Design Space. The fonts I use are Corona and Georgia. The Corona is, I will have a link to that font down below. It's like a derivative of defont.com, but you know, I don't know how that works like that, but whatever. I'll have that link for you, which is the cursive writing there. And then the rest of both projects are all defont.com and free. All the fonts are free. Got this ready. So memories we've made, people we love. I think it's going to be a really cute sign. I love using those colors of the grays and the aquas. I just think it gives it a nice farmhouse look and can go in any decor. So I've got the bottom kind of almost ready to go here. The top's got cardstock in it. We're going to go to the middle here. We're going to add our first layer of black cardstock just to cover up all the ugly spray paint. And then we're going to add our next layer of print paper here. I'm just peeling off the double stick tape I used to put the two pieces together, because, you know, that helps stick it, right? Along with our glue. And really, once you see the sign up close, you can barely see the seams in these papers. It looks really nice. Getting our top piece on the top here. Top piece on the top. Great language skills today. And then I'm going to add just some of my strips here. Again, because this top sign is very long, I had to glue my two little strips of paper together. But this will give us that little bit of that aqua tone, top and bottom, without having, you know, a whole sheet of paper. Like I said, I didn't have really enough paper to do that with. And then we'll add our main sheet on top. Got that ready. I've kind of alternated the colors here. And we're going to start getting our quotes down. So the middle one will be people we love. I've got that glue on there ready to go. We're just going to smooth that down. We'll get our bottom quote on there. So essentially our sign says home, people we love, and memories we've made. So I'm just kind of laying these letters here right now to see which position I want to get them into. And then we'll start gluing everything down. See where I want to lay the windmill so I can space my letters out correctly. And then before I glue everything down, I've just got like a little 120 grit little piece of sandpaper here, and I'm just going right along the edges of the windmill there just to distress it up a little bit so that it kind of matches the distressing of the rest of the sign, just around those edges. Go ahead, using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue today. I perfectly trust it to glue and hold down these letters and windmill. So we'll get these into position. Perfect. Got a lot of glue on here. It will hold fine. I figure if I can put cute little patches on my jeans with this Fabri-Tac and run it through my dryer, and I have 20 washes and those patches are still on, this Fabri-Tac glue is going to hold down my wooden letters and metal embellishments. So once I get these into place, I off camera will mark where my windmill is going to sit on the H and the M. And then, so that's where I'll be adding my glue here. So you can kind of see I've got some nice big splotches of glue in the certain areas. And of course, these certain areas will come into contact on those two letters. And then once I get this into position, this project is complete. So I hope you like both projects that I've come up with today. I think they're both easy and the color palette is really nice and mild. It can go in anyone's home decor. Please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below and let me know which project was your favorite, the mini door or the signpost, or maybe both. Remember, if you're not a subscriber and you like what you saw here today, make sure you hit that red subscribe button and notification bell. Before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. Have the courage to let go. There might be things you're hanging on to that needs to be let go. Maybe it's a past hurt, a past indiscretion, a current harmful relationship, a bad habit. It may seem impossible, but believe and let it go. Forgive the past, forgive the present, set your boundaries, trust God, and move forward. He will give you something better in its place. You have to let go of what God wants you to let go of. It might be difficult to trust because you can't see the outcome, but you can be free. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.